and design in particular?
I think that they encouraged my creativity. I think they valued that. I think that they didn't necessarily know what design was either. So I think, if anything, they pushed more for the creative development side of things, for sure.
Tell me about how you came to work in technology.
So in college, I was a lab rat. Access to high-end computers was like hard to come by. So I had to get into the computer lab, stay there, 3 o'clock in the morning every night. And that allowed me to explore what was emerging then. At that point, it was the web. This is around 94, 95, where the first commercial web browser at least, was just coming out. And so you had tools like Photoshop, and you had people learning HTML. And so I was one of those people that started that way. And so I built my first website, and that website helped me get my first internship. And that internship was a company called New York Online, and they were a pre-web online community. So this was a bulletin board system that, in order to be a part of this community, you'd had to have a disk mailed to you, a floppy disk mailed to you, that you could install the software and then use your modem to dial up and maybe chat with people. So that was social networking back in the day. And so this company happened to know more about the internet than most, so they were in a position to do early web work. So I started as an intern there. And then from there, I actually went to a startup with some of those people, and we were working on online communities, which is basically social networking before social networking. We called it online community. And one of the first things we built was a website called blackplanet.com, which was a social network that was targeted at the African American community, or just the more global black community. And so that was a big deal because it was really early days. And what's been interesting there is to see how much is still similar, now almost 20 years later, and how much we were figuring out that this just stayed true all those years. So that's kind of the start. And from there, I went into the agency world, eventually working on work for Nike and Nokia and others, and then eventually into the startup world again with Foursquare, then at YouTube, and then at Instagram.
What do you think some of those lessons from that original online community, and especially the black community, I think, as shaping you as a designer, or lessons that you use today?
So I think, from a understanding early online community work, things that matter still matter. So the idea that I control my own presence, which is relevant to some of the work we're doing on profile, and how important that is to people. The importance of visual and images. The company we worked at, we at one point still allowed people to mail in photos that we would scan for them to post to their profile. Aging myself a little bit. But, pretty incredible, right? But it was that important. That was that important to people to get a photo of themselves, right? And then other functions like search and some way to kind of find other people, communication tools, messaging tools. All these things have been around for a long time. And so it's been interesting to see that. The other bit on kind of more... So with Black Planet, what was amazing about it is how fast it grew. It was really clear that we had unlocked something that was going to be really important in the future. And I think that was because people had a need to connect with people like them. And that was a global need, right? And we just unlocked something. And I think that's continued to be true on something more broader like Instagram, where people have that need to connect with people around interests and passions, right? And that's something we deliver on at an even bigger scale. But I think what's interesting about the African American community specifically is that they were actually pretty early adopters to some things, and I think because it met a need, that need to kind of connect with people maybe outside their city or even outside their country, and be willing to go beyond the state of the art to do that. We also knew that black folks were very early adopters of mobile technology, and so we did